right, so for today's episode, I'd like to talk a little bit about classic movies, but maybe a different direction we're going to go than most people would think. Let's kind of call this admissions or confessions of movies that we should have seen but never did. I'll confess first.
You confess first.
All right. So it's unbelievable for a guy of my age, but I had never seen the Godfather movies, which I know. It's incredible, right? I'm not really even sure why, but anyway, I'll confess I never saw it until recently. I saw the first one. I've still got to see number 2 because everybody says you just need to see both. But I finally saw The Godfather, and I must admit, for me, the first hour is just genius. Hour and 10 minutes. I think the rest of the movie's really great too. But for me, I was stunned at how everything was just, the story was unfolding, while the wedding was taking place. And so, yeah, but anyway, there's mine. That's, I guess, such an obvious omission when it comes to films.
I saw The Godfather the week it came out. I went with some friends, and his dad was a colonel in the Army, so we went to Fort Belvoir, Virginia, on base, and went to the movie theater there. It was in the summertime. The one movie, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. I've never seen this movie. Please forgive me. Scarface.
Right.
I've seen a ton of Pacino movies.
Yeah.
I never have seen Scarface. And I've gotten unmitigated grief from you,
Right.
from some of our other friends, from my son,
Right. Stephen.
who loves that movie.
And I love that about Stephen because we've had a giggle about it, he and I.
And I have never seen it.
Right.
I still don't have any desire to see it.
Right.
I think for me, the older I get, the less gore I want to see. And there's got to be gore in that movie.
Yeah. What's interesting about Scarface? That's kind of a guilty pleasure film for me. I think one of the reasons I, kind of avoided The Godfather for so long was I didn't want to watch the violence that I figured was in it. So that's one of the reasons I stayed away from it all those years. And so to say I love Scarface, which you just mentioned, it is kind of a contradiction, but there's something about the way Pacino played the part. It's unbelievable, the Cuban accent. He just nailed it. And it's an immigration kind of story, too, in a weird way. I don't know. And the underbelly of society. It's you should see it sometime.
Well, you're talking about the violence, and I recall 3 specific instances in The Godfather that were extremely violent.
I'd like to just touch on the fact that you had never seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail for the longest time. And then about 10 years ago, you and I and Paul Rowe, we kind of had a guy movie night at my house. And
watched it.
That was pretty cool, though, wasn't it?
It was.
You admitted, boy, this is something.
I liked it. I think I ended up getting The Life of Brian.
You did as well.
Seeing that.
Well, do you own films on DVD and Blu-ray, that kind of thing? Do you own some?
I've got a ton, 300, at least 300.
You have a lot, too. Yeah, I do, too.
I never use them anymore.
I know. We all are guilty of streaming, I think, most of the time. But you know what? I still enjoy cranking up my system. I have Blu-ray and DVD fed into sort of an old-school stereo system. And so the audio is coming through a mixer, and it's coming out of my Bose speakers. So, when I'm in the mood, it still is nice to dim the lights, crank it up.
We're probably close to the end of this one. But one show that I really never watched a whole lot of that I didn't discover. I saw it was on Amazon. It was for sale. It was dirt cheap. It was all the episodes of WKRP in Cincinnati.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Old school TV.
Old school TV.
Old school TV.
Right.
But that's not a movie.
No. It's a great show, though.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's it for now. We'll revisit the movies, come up with a different take on film, but there we go.
Okay. Is that the end of the slate?
I think so.
Done.
Perfect.